Hey guys, we're with the wonderful, legendary, amazing, wonderful, if I didn't already say, the one, the only, Tom Kenny.
Wow, I got two wonderfuls. How's that?
How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. Good morning, buddy.
Good morning. If you guys don't know this legendary guy, he is SpongeBob.
Yeah. I'm SpongeBob. Let's see. I'm Gary the cat. Meow. The cat meowing snail. And then the French narrator that says 2 hours later. And then a whole bunch of other stuff on other shows.
And
Before and after SpongeBob. Patchy the Pirate. You're right. I forgot about him. Yeah, he's on camera. Patchy the Pirate.
But you never know because you got a patch on.
You never had a beard and they black out my teeth. I think I'm realizing, buddy, I only like to be on camera when I'm totally unrecognizable. Yeah.
Mayor from the freaking Powerpuff Girls?
Yeah, exactly. Which is basically my lousy take on the Wizard of Oz.
Hey, yeah. And one of my favorites, because underrated show nowadays is Foster Home for Imaginary Friends. You're Eduardo!
Yeah, Eduardo, the big purple monster that speaks Spanish. I love Eduardo.
Is that voice hard to do on your throat?
He's about the hardest of them, but I love doing him.
Yes.
Because I love his personality.
Right.
And Craig McCracken is one of my favorite show creators, Powerpuff Girls, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, and Kid Cosmic, a whole lot of other ones. But he's wonderful. So he always writes me really good, interesting parts.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and start. I just want to let you know also. I'm a huge Yu-Gi-Oh fan, and they had your name on the episodes.
Oh, on Yu-Gi-Oh?
On Yu-Gi-Oh, it said Tom Kenny.
I think that's a different Tom Kenny. I think there's a Canadian Tom Kenny.
Okay.
They did a lot of anime, like maybe not Pokemon, maybe Pokemon, but Yu-Gi-Oh, like those types of shows.
Okay, I saw the name and I did.
Yes, I know. I've seen that too, and I know that wasn't me, and I know those were mostly done in Canada.
Right.
And I think that there is a Canadian
Tom
Kenny. Yeah, exactly. Like I gotta look into that. Yeah, different unions.
Okay.
So I guess because a lot of times there's people with the same name in unions,
exactly.
right? Like Michael Fox is a pretty common name, so I'll put a J in there. Yeah, Michael B. Jordan, right? Exactly. That one letter makes a lot of difference. So I guess maybe I have to change my name to Thomas J. Kenny or Thomas S.B. Kenny for SpongeBob.
Or make him change his name.
No, I'm not that kind of guy. I'm too passive.
So what inspired you to be a voice actor?
Well, cartoons and voice actors inspired me to be a voice actor, especially Mel Blanc,
yes.
Man, all of them, Stan Freberg, June Foray, all of them, just so many of the ones that I grew up with, and Dawes Butler and Don Messick.
Yeah.
They were all guys that I would just hear those voices. Casey, exactly. Like this fork is haunted. So we, I think, just hearing those voices, and then of course starting to realize that this guy is also this guy, but wait, he also does this character, and trying to read the credits before they go by really fast on your screen because there was no internet. I grew up pre-internet before there were the newfangled computers. So there
was no IMDb back then.
No IMDb. The IMDb was like whatever you could find at your local library or in the TV guide, which wasn't much.
Or go to the theaters and watch the movie 10 times to figure out.
Exactly. No. Too fast. So Mel Blanc was the smart one because in lieu of a pay raise with Leon Schlesinger at Warner Brothers, he asked for more money. The boss said no, and he said, okay, so in lieu of money, at the beginning of every Looney Tune, I want a big card that says voice characterizations Mel Blanc. Right. So that will engender other work. So people will see my name and go, let's hire him for this radio show or this TV show or whatever, which did work very well for him because he did a lot of radio and TV in addition to cartoons. So smart cat that.
And I know he's inspired a lot of people like Jim Cummings, for example.
Jim Cummings inspired me, and those guys that came just before me, Rob Paulson, Jim Cummings, Billy West, Frank Welker.
Those are Poland.
Yeah, and those are the guys that I got to work with. They got to work with Mel and people like that because they were a few years ahead of me. They got to work with Mel at the end of his career when he was elderly, but I never did. So, but I got to work with them, and they were just so incredibly encouraging. All of them, Tress McNeil, all of them.
Yeah.
And they're just very encouraging to me, like not competitive or not intimidating or intimidated by a new person coming in. They weren't like, this is my bone, you know. They were very, very sweet and encouraging and nice to me because, and they were, literally encouraging. Like, you're going to do great. This is all right. Charlie Adler. Oh, my God. I can't forget Charlie Adler. He was the first one of those guys that I really, really worked with. And he was so good and so adept at doing multiple voices, talking to each other at the same time. One take, two people talking to each other, same take, going back and forth. And I was just looking at him going, I can't do that. I don't know how to do it. I better learn how to do that, right? I better get good fast. I better get a lot better than I am really fast, or I'm not going to be able to hang with these dogs. They're fantastic. Like, they're the most talented people I've ever seen in my life.
Right.
And I came out of stand-up comedy and sketch comedy, and these guys were hands down the most talented ounce per ounce tide pool of show business that I had ever seen. So, that was very motivating for me. It's like whatever, like playing a sport with guys that are way better than you, and you go, wow, I better start shooting baskets. I better come down here and shoot baskets every freaking day, or I'm just gonna get left in the dust.
Exactly. Yeah. And so when it comes to obviously,
notice I'm putting my pinky out. It's like a tea party. It's Buddy's tea party.
Buddy's tea party of celebrities. So obviously, I think one of your biggest roles, you got to say, is SpongeBob.
That's the biggest.
How did you get that role? Was it just an audition?
Not really. Pretty much everything else on my IMDb. Thank you. No, please sit down. Everything. I just get standing ovations when I walk.
Exactly. You're Tom Kenny.
That's the guy playing music in the lobby.
You're Tom Kenny in the high seas.
So, what were we saying? Yes. Everything else on my IMDb is an audition. SpongeBob was a result of me working with Steven Hillenburg on an earlier show called Rocko's Modern Life, early Nicktoon. And I was Heifer the Yellow Cow. I was the dumb guy. I was kind of the Patrick on that show.
Yeah.
I was the dopey sidekick. Yeah. Then I gained a couple of brain cells and became the slightly smarter friend.
Yes.
Which on Rocko was Rocko, Carlos L is Rocky, and on SpongeBob is SpongeBob, me. But, so Steve just kind of, we had worked together on Rocko, and he was had this idea for a show percolating in his brain for many years.
Right.
And he finally got it together and then did a Bible and a presentation.
Yes.
And pitched it to Nickelodeon. We'll see what happens.
Right.
And they bid. And he always had me in mind for SpongeBob. So long answer to a short question. Yes. I didn't really have to, but that's totally anomalous. On my IMDb.
Right.
Like that's a weird oddball thing.
Yeah.
And the fact that Steve was able to push that through Nickelodeon, considering he had never had a show before or anything like that, was a testament to his doggedness about doing the show exactly how he wanted.
And was it true that originally he wanted SpongeBob to be like Adult Swim? There's been rumors of that, so I just wanted to clarify that.
No, that's totally. It was never.
Okay.
He was never pitching a more scatological version of SpongeBob ever.
Okay.
No, it was always considered to be
nobody's. Can't believe everything you hear on the internet, so that's why
believe it or not, including that I worked on Yu-Gi-Oh.
Exactly.
Case in point. I think he always intended it to be, I won't say a kids show on a kids network, but a funny, non-scatological show on a network ostensibly for kids, but that families watched. I guess the way that like Looney Tunes and Fleischer Brothers cartoons and stuff had adults could enjoy them, but they weren't expressly adult in a family guy-ish way.
There's some jokes that are a little
Rocko had that too, right? And Looney Tunes had that, and
you were able to get away with that back then than you are today.
It was a little easier back in the Rocko days at Nickelodeon because the inmates were running the asylum a little more. you know, there's a little, especially when something gets as big as SpongeBob.
Right.
There's once it's $1 zillion international corporate IP, there's sort of more prying eyes, kind of spying on you, but not much. You know, I will say one thing I like about animation, like the animation world, is that you are largely left alone.
Right.
You know, they know what the show is, they know what ratings the show gets, and whatever how much money they make on licensing those characters for macaroni and cheese and toothbrushes and things. They're very happy with that. You know, partnerships like with the NFL and places like that. And you know, once they make the decision to pick up the show for another season, which luckily they've done all these years.
Right.
Luckily for me, I mean.
Yeah, 25 years later.
Yeah, we're
now 26.
Yeah, we're currently wrapping up season 15.
Oh my God.
So even though it's 25 years, it's 15 seasons, because they would take long sabbaticals. Yeah, sometimes longer breaks where we weren't sure if the show was going to come back or not. And then you'd get the word. It's kind of like being on death row. You know, you wait for the call from the governor. You wait for the reprieve. You know, they're walking into the electric chair. Da, 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 and then they go, hey, the governor called. He's going to say, yeah, I'm not going to get executed. I have a job tomorrow. And so, yeah, the weird circus life that we live. It's not for everybody, but it's so that's they kind of once they decide to pick up the show, as long as you're delivering the show in a reasonable way that they like, on time, on budget, not doing anything crazy with the character, you know, not reinventing it in an insane way. But like, why would you reinvent it anyway?
Right, exactly.
But there's no reason to. You know, it continues to be successful, and I think one of the reasons for that is that it doesn't change. You know, it's very you know, the characters are who they are. It's not like a big character arc like Breaking Bad or something like that. It's not like Walter White starts out as a teacher and then he's a crime lord. You know, SpongeBob is SpongeBob.
SpongeBob.
Squidward is Squidward. Mr. Krabs is Mr. Krabs.
$1 for every brain cell you have. I only have $1.
Yes, I love it. I love when Squidward says something clever. And like that, nailed it. You know, like his own biggest fan. Right.
I like when one of my favorite episodes. It's like, is mayonnaise an instrument? No, Patrick, mayonnaise is not an instrument. Neither is horseradish.
I love it. I know, that's my favorite.
Out of all the episodes that you voiced, and I know this may be a hard question, what are some of your favorites there?
Well, that one's my favorite. Bangies. It's funny, I tend to like the ones
that are more quotable.
Well, the ones that kind of feature, that have scenes that really feature other characters. It's funny, the stuff that I'm the fondest of is like that exchange between Squidward and Patrick. But I also like the ones that are about SpongeBob and Patrick's friendship. You know,
you got
the 24, 25.
25.
Just dumb jokes in school. You know,
there's a lot of them. There's something in that, and I read this on the internet, so it doesn't mean it's true either. But they said back in the day that was a way to get away with making a joke towards Cartoon Network, because back in the day, Cartoon Network was channel 24 and Nickelodeon was channel 25. So they're saying, what's funnier than 24? 25.
Wow. You know, I don't know what respective channels on the cable box network, Cartoon Network and SpongeBob, but I would guess, knowing Steve and his writers, they weren't that competitive. They weren't thinking about like, oh, we're going to get Cartoon Network to our competitors. They're very magnanimous people.
And then I love how,
in fact, half the people that work, more than half the people, pretty much everybody that worked on our show has worked for Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon, because we're freelancers.
Exactly.
You know, myself included. Look at all those credits we mentioned. How many of them are Cartoon Network and how many of them are Nickelodeon, Cat Dog and Rocco and all that. So yeah, everybody's freelance. I don't think a takedown of Cartoon Network would have been anything Steve would have been even remotely
I don't think
interested
takedown,
in.
but they were just like, hey, what's funnier? They were giving Nickelodeon a little credit.
You know, I think I would have heard that. I would have heard that.
That's another thing on the internet.
I think that's probably another
conspiracy.
That's another Yu-Gi-Oh situation.
And it took the universe almost 25 years to come with the joke too. You probably saw all the memes of when the New Year's happened. What's funnier than 2024, 2025?
Yes. What's way less funny than Project 2024? Project 2025.
And then
tough times.
Yes, you're not wrong. And then you've sang a lot of songs What's one of your favorite that you've sang?
I love Best Ever.
Best Ever. Yes.
Yeah.
And you performed that with your band too.
I do that.
I know. I was there.
and wrote it with my friend Andy Paley.
So you wrote? Did you write most of the songs?
Co-wrote many of them.
Wow.
With Andy Paley.
What about the Krusty Krab pizza?
No, not that one. I can't remember. I think that one was never a tune. Like they just had the words in the script.
Yeah.
And they said just freestyle.
And you're like,
just freestyle, baby. And I didn't think they would keep that big. Like, I thought that's too dumb. And they're like, yeah, we love
that. Do more of that.
So yeah, do more of that. It's like, wow. I know my bad decisions often turn out to be good decisions, and the things I think are good decisions often turn out to be less of that. But it's crazy. The songs, my friend Andy Paley and I had written some songs for other shows.
Olivia, we were like like a little kids show. We wrote theme songs to that. There was another musical show, Handy Mandy.
Yes, Handy Mandy. I remember that.
I wrote a lot of songs for that.
Wow.
And I pretty much so like for Samurai Jack.
Whoa.
So we were just kind of
Yeah.
That I wrote songs and then I had this songwriter partner Andy Paley who's super legendary. Look him up on the internet.
Yes.
He's amazing. And we formed out of those SpongeBob songs that we wrote, and we hired musicians, some of whom were friends of mine, and some of whom were friends of his, and we kind of built this super team, great musicians, horn players, guitar players, drummers, everything, singers, and we started doing fundraisers for like public schools, things like that.
Yeah.
And just doing cartoon songs, and then to pad out those sets, we started doing R&B songs that we liked. A lot of which work as children's songs. Like a lot of those old rock and roll songs the kids just love them because they're kind of childlike, and rocking. So we started doing those, and out of that group, this band Tom Kenny and the High Seas.
Yes.
That now plays all the time.
Yes.
We recently, in November, lost Andy to cancer.
I'm sorry to hear that.
So, thanks. Thanks for that. He was a beautiful guy and super talented.
Is that the same Andy that you were telling that you wrote the songs with?
Yes.
So
Exactly.
he passed away now.
He passed away in November. So
Okay.
He had a very quick.
And was he somebody that performed with you in?
Oh yeah.
So
Well, I'm trying to think. So
was he at the Lexington one?
He had moved to
Was he at when I met you in Lexington? Did he perform with the band?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he had moved to Vermont, and that was just Lexington. I get mixed up because he was the only member of the band that did live in LA because
Okay.
COVID, he and his wife and
Yeah.
his kids moved to Vermont near Burlington, and so sometimes he was geographically it was hard to get him to the gigs or for him to get to the gigs, I should say. And then some he did, but anyway, the band is carrying on, in his honor, and so it's crazy. So I stay busy,
Yes, I know you do.
all the time. Always got my little mobile rig on the road.
Yeah, you do.
Comic Cons and
Right.
whatever. I'm always in a hotel room screaming, hoping that the maids don't think I'm murdering somebody. 258. Why is there script? They're like, what the hell's going on?
It's Tom Kenny. Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I also don't want to be the guy that goes, hey, I'm a famous cartoon voice actor person. So
Do you know
who I think? And if you hear anything, but so I usually go, hey, can you put me? I got to do some work. And might get kind of, so sometimes the Zoom gets a little loud. So if you could put me on a less traffic area off the floor of the hotel, they're always like, oh, fine, we'll put you down here.
That's awesome.
And so, it's a very weird life. To me, it's normal, but all I ever wanted, even as a teenager, as a kid growing up in Syracuse, was to make my living doing something not normal.
Right.
I always suspected that normality, the norm, was overrated. And I don't have to tell you. I'm sure you had the same thought. So exactly.
Why? Right, exactly. Why? Who cares?
And I know we're gonna wrap this up because I know you got a convention.
I do gotta go to a con.
So I am gonna ask you, what is your favorite color?
My favorite color?
Yes.
Oh man, well, I guess I would have to say yellow.
Yellow. Okay.
Yeah, you got a little yellow there.
I do.
Yeah,
My tights.
Yeah, you got to strike that. Yeah, I would have to say yellow. The color yellow has been very good to me. My wife and kids and I are very grateful to the color yellow.
Yes.
Yeah.
And where can these beautiful people find you on social media?
Nowhere.
Whoa.
I don't know. I don't have any.
Oh well, they can follow your band.
Oh yeah, my band has a Instagram.
Yes.
Okay.
It's Tom Kenny in the High Seas.
I'll be honest, I don't look at it. But Tom Kenny in the High Seas, HISEAS.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, I'm not a Facebook. I'm not I'm a total social media hermit by design.
Hey,
Which sometimes I think makes me the dumbest person in the room. Like you could really, people go, do you know how many followers you can have or how many eyeballs you can have? And I go, I don't really care about that.
because I mean, and like
I
on
just want to make funny
TikTok,
voices.
on TikTok, for example, I mean, if you were to make videos on there, your video would
Right.
go viral.
That's
Because,
what
like
they
I
tell.
said, one of
So
the
I hear.
one of the biggest trends of like the beginning of this year was people doing the what's funnier, and they subbed with the 24, but they added 2024 to 2025. So that was a big trend on
I have
TikTok.
kids, my kids are in their 20s, so I do see all that.
Right.
They do show to me, hey dad.
Hey, Dad.
But it has to be put in front of me. It's like vegetables. Okay, I guess but yeah, I'm not really on any social media. However, now that in 2020, if I was just starting out now,
Then you
I would have to have all that. There's no way I would have
because
the luxury.
nowadays they want to look at your following and say, oh well, you don't have this many
And I'm
followers.
sure I've lost roles to people like in whatever animated movies and things because somebody's got a bigger following. But collateral damage of not having it. That's
Right.
okay. I that's a trade-off I'm willing to
You're
leave.
like, I'm SpongeBob. And speaking of SpongeBob, this year, Magic the Gathering is doing a collaboration with SpongeBob. There's going to be Magic the Gathering SpongeBob cards.
I have heard
I'm
a little
excited
bit
about that.
You probably know about as
I
much
don't
as
know.
me.
Yeah,
That's all I know about it.
All I know is that they're supposed to be. They make certain times they'll do crossovers with different characters.
Yes.
It's 5 special cards, and I'm guessing they'll probably do SpongeBob, Patrick, Sandy, Mr. Krabs, and probably Squidward.
That's probably the
Top
mains,
5.
the mains, as they say.
Maybe Larry the Lobster. Who knows?
That would be great. That would be great. That's it. And in Christmas of 2025. I don't know why I'm thinking of Christmas right now.
I don't know why.
I don't know.
Maybe because of the weather that Buddy brought. Buddy brought the North Pole.
I love winter. I love winter weather. I'm crazy.
Well, thank you so
Movie
much.
coming out in Christmas 2025. I was leading up to a big, shameless, whorish plug, and then
What movie coming out December
it's
2025?
SpongeBob 4.
Let's Elfin go.
Yeah, it's great. So December of 2025.
25?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Mark Hamill's he's got a big
I
part.
met him.
I'm the voice director on the movie and the TV show, but been directing a lot. Yeah, he's a close friend of mine.
He plays Buddy's father in this Buddy the Elf musical they did. I got to meet him earlier last year, and he's like, and when I met him, he's like, I played your dad.
He's a wonderful guy. He's a wonderful person.
Definitely.
Yeah, him and his wife and kids are beautiful, funny family, and he's exactly like you would want him to be.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna smile at the camera and wave.
Bye.
Bye.